Hey friends, so I am going to read our Bible story for today. It's called Lydia Meets Paul, and it's based on Acts 16, verses 11 through 15. Sometimes we find good things in unexpected places. When we listen to God, we should be ready to be surprised like that. What good thing happens in this story? Paul and his friends traveled from city to city to tell people the good news about Jesus. One of the first cities they went to was Philippi, a city ruled by the Romans. Paul found that not many Jews lived in Philippi, so there was no synagogue. Where do people go to worship God? Paul wondered. Worshippers of God gathered to pray on a riverbank outside the city. Some women were praying there when Paul and his friends arrived. Paul sat down to talk with the women. One woman was named Lydia. She sold purple cloth to kings, queens, and other rich people. This made her very wealthy. Lydia was curious about what Paul told them. She wanted to know more about this Jesus. She heard the good news and was so excited. Paul, she asked, would you baptize me and everyone who lives in my house? Paul did baptize them all. Then Lydia said, you don't know many people here. Now you know that I am a believer in Jesus. Please stay at my house. Paul and his friends stayed with Lydia as long as they were in Philippi. They were friends now. They were able to tell many more people about Jesus and how he wanted them to treat one another. Hi everybody. I hope you all are enjoying your summer so far. So last week I challenged you guys to try something new. Remember? Did anyone do something? I hope so, because summer is the perfect season to branch out and try new things. Maybe try to plant some tomatoes. Gardening is really fun to do in the summer. Or learn a new sport or a hobby. Keep being open to all the new ways that God can bring happiness into our lives. So today, we heard the story of Lydia and Paul. Now, Paul was the man we spoke about last week, and after his conversion, meaning changing his mind to love and believe in Jesus, he began traveling all over the land to share his experience with people. When he got to the town of Philippi, he realizes that because there are so few Jews, they don't have a building to worship in. That kind of makes it hard to build community, right? When you don't have a specific place to meet. But it does remind us that God never actually said we could only worship in a church. We can worship anywhere. And that is what we see here in this story. Lydia knows the people who worship God, and she knows that they all need a place to meet and to sing and to pray and to be together. So she gathers those people up and begins to worship and have church on the riverbank. Doesn't that sound so nice? The water, the breeze. I would go to church there. I think we should think like Lydia, actually, and start having Sunday school outside when we get back. Who's with me, huh? Now, think back with me a little bit. Remember that in Genesis, we heard that God makes all of creation, everything around us. That means the trees, the flowers, the birds, the water, the dirt, the people. All these things are sacred. That means connected to God. They're sacred members of God's family. So that means anywhere can be church because God is in everything, and that means God is everywhere. The possibilities are endless for places to see God and to have church. We don't need to meet in a building. How cool is that we have a God that meets us anywhere we are? And that's an especially nice thing to remember these days, since we haven't been able to meet together at our church in quite a while. We are like those people in Philippi. without a place to meet, trying to find a new way to still be a family together. Lydia reminds us that we can pray, we can sing, and we can talk to God anywhere we find ourselves. And that is why we're still meeting like this on the internet, online. Because it is still church to God. Any way that we manage to be together and to talk about God and pray to God is church. We worship over the internet just like the people of Philippi worshiped at the river. So the next time that you find yourself maybe watching one of our videos like this, or maybe you're playing in the backyard or walking through the park, somewhere that is not traditionally thought of as church, take a second to think, this is all God's church too. And maybe say a quick prayer in your head, a prayer for our world, for your families, and for us to be together soon. And God will hear that. Amen.